Hello, today's daily reading comes from the book of the Apocrypha. We are on chapter 43 in the book of Jasher, and we'll be reading verses 1 through 24, and it reads as follows. And when the sons of Jacob had sold their brother Joseph to the Midianites, their hearts were smitten on account of him, and they repented of their acts, and they sought for him to bring him back, but could not find him. And Reuben returned to the pit in which Joseph had been put, in order to lift him out and restore him to his father. And Reuben stood by the pit, and he heard not a word. And he called out, Joseph, Joseph, and no one answered or uttered a word. And Reuben said, Joseph has died through fright, or some serpent has caused his death. And Reuben descended into the pit, and he searched for Joseph, and could not find him in the pit. And he came out again. And Reuben tore his garments, and he said, The child is not there, and how will I reconcile my father about him if he be dead? And he went to his brethren, and found them grieving on account of Joseph, and counseling together how to reconcile their father about him. And Reuben said unto his brethren, I came to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not there. What then will we say unto our father? For my father will only seek the lad from me. And his brethren answered him, saying, Thus and thus we did, and our hearts afterwards smote us on account of the act, and we now sit on to seek a pretext how we will reconcile our father to it. And Reuben said unto them, What is this you have done to bring down the gray hairs of our father in sorrow to the grave? The thing is not good that you have done. And Reuben sat with them, and they all rose up and swore to each other not to tell this thing unto Jacob, and they all said, The man who will tell this to our father or his household, or who will report this to any of the children of the land, we will rise up against him and slay him with the sword. And the sons of Jacob feared each other in this matter, from the youngest to the oldest, and no one spoke a word. And they concealed the thing in their hearts. And they afterward sat down to determine and invent something to say unto their father Jacob concerning all these things. And Issachar said unto them, Here is an advice for you, if you seem good in your eyes to do this thing. Take the coat which belongs to Joseph, and tear it, and kill a kid of the goats, and dip it in its blood, and send it to our father. And when he sees it, he will say, An evil beast has devoured him. Therefore tear you his coat, and behold, his blood will be upon his coat. And by your doing this will be free of our father's murmurings. And Issachar's advice pleased them, and they hearkened unto him, and they did according to the word of Issachar which he had counseled them. And they hastened and took Joseph's coat and tore it, and they killed the kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood of the kid, and then trampled in the dust. And they sent the coat to their father Jacob by the hand of Naphtali. And they commanded him to say these words: We have gathered in the cattle, and had come as far as the road to Shechem and father. When we found this coat upon the road in the wilderness, dipped in blood and in dust. Now therefore know whether it be your son's coat or not. And Naphtali went, and he came unto his father, and he gave him the coat, and he spoke unto him all the words which his brethren had commanded him. And Jacob saw Joseph's coat, and he knew it, and fell upon his face to the ground, and became as still as a stone. And he afterward rose up and cried out with a loud and weeping voice, and he said, It is the coat of my son Joseph. And Jacob hastened, and sent one of his servants to his sons, who went to them, and found them coming along the road with the flock. And the sons of Jacob come to their father about evening, and behold, their garments were torn, and dust was upon their heads. And they found their father crying out and weeping with a loud voice. And Jacob said unto his sons, Tell me truly, what evil you have this day suddenly brought upon me? And they answered their father Jacob, saying, We were coming along this day after the flock had been gathered in, and we came as far as the city of Shechem by the road in the wilderness, and we found this coat filled with blood upon the ground, and we knew it, and we sent unto you if you knew it. And Jacob heard the words of his sons, and he cried out with a loud voice, and he said, It is the coat of my son. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is rent in pieces. For I sent him this day to see whether it was well with you, and well with the flocks, and to bring me word again from you. And he went as I commanded him. And this has happened to him this day, while I thought my son was with you. And the sons of Jacob answered and said, He did not come to us, neither had we seen him from the time of our going out from you until now. And when Jacob heard this word, he again cried out aloud, and he rose up and tore his garments, and he put sackcloth upon his loins, and he wept bitterly, and he mourned and lifted up his voice, and weeping exclaimed and said these words, Joseph, my son, O my son Joseph, I sent you this day after the welfare of your brethren, and behold, you have been torn to pieces. Through my hand has this happened to my son. It grieves me for you, Joseph, my son. It grieves me for you. How sweet were you to me during life, and now how exceedingly bitter is your death to me. Amen.